Welcome to Disruption Dialogues Podcast Season 2. Listen to the influential leaders and trailblazers from around the world as they share invaluable insights to navigating the fifth industrial revolution.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Disruption Dialogues Season 2. I'm Robert Outram, Vice President for Chemicals, Materials and Food in Europe and Middle East at MarketsandMarkets. Today I am in conversation with Fabrizio Ponte, Executive Vice President, Head of Thermoplastic Composites Platform at ScienceCo. Fabrizio, a visionary leader at ScienceCo, orchestrates breakthroughs in innovation and growth. His expertise in advancing thermoplastic composites shapes the future for sustainable industrial revolutions. So welcome to the podcast, Fabrizio. We're going to basically talk a little bit about ScienceCo to begin with, new company that's or spin-off that's developed, so we can update on that, and then we'll go into more in depth on thermoplastics and how to innovate around there. So just briefly on ScienceCo, new company, what are the drivers of the recently implemented split between Solvay and ScienceCo?
Absolutely. So Robert, first of all, thank you for having me. I mean, a pleasure to be here today and talk about ScienceCo and ScienceCo Thermoplastic Composites. Okay, so really great pleasure to be here. Okay, so let's start with ScienceCo. I mean, what is ScienceCo? Okay, so we were born on the 8th of December of 2023. So we are recently new. So it's a little bit over a month. But we come from a 160-year-old company. So we are a spin-off of Solvay that, as you may know, has been in business for 160 years. But now we are ScienceCo. Okay, so this was really a historical moment for Solvay and now for ScienceCo. But what we are today. Okay, so today we are an 8 billion euro company. We have 62 industrial sites. We have 12 major research and innovation centers around the world. And as I said, we have chosen the name ScienceCo with science in it. So what does it mean? I mean, why science? Okay, ScienceCo is a science company. We are fueled by innovation and sustainability. And really, we bring together the sharpest, most technological activities with the highest growth and added value potential. We have 13,000 employees, and which we call explorers, because we really explore innovative solutions. And we all push, the limits of knowledge and the benefits for our customers and society as a whole. So, really exciting time for ScienceCo, for our customers, and for our people.
Okay. And what businesses and markets are you in, Fabrizio?
Yeah, fantastic. Good question. Okay, so ScienceCo includes two, let's say, business clusters. One is called materials. The other one is called consumers and resources. Okay, in consumers and resources, again, we target, solutions for business like home and personal care, agro, and building and constructions. Okay, materials includes basically specialty polymers and composite materials. And we are in business like aerospace, automotive, semiconductor, electronics, really you name it. I mean, it's many different industries.
Okay, and I really love the new strap line. It's quite a fascinating strap line, and I'll just quote it now. It says, "We are explorers creating breakthroughs that advance humanity." That's quite a strap line. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is a podcast about disruption, and ScienceCo is designed to innovate and to disrupt. Okay, so we are really focused on the technologies of tomorrow. We work with customers, in order to help their products, enter into new application and new market for tomorrow's challenges. I mean, it's really all about innovation, science, and growth.
Okay, and these new platforms, you mentioned innovation, and we're going to come on to a little bit about the process of innovation in a bit, but why is innovation so central to ScienceCo? Have you got any examples maybe that you could share with us?
Absolutely. So, ScienceCo includes not just these two businesses, so materials and consumers and resources, but we also have 4 dedicated platforms that are focused in very specific, let's say, spaces, so in markets or applications where ScienceCo can really make a difference in advancing technology and science in those spaces. I mean, what are the platforms that we have at group level? And thermoplastic composites is one of them. So let me start with that. Thermoplastic composites is one of the 4 platforms, together with batteries, hydrogen, and biosource materials. Okay, so these are 4 spaces where ScienceCo can really make a difference from the scientific standpoint and from the technological innovation standpoint. So platforms are, let's say, dedicated teams designed really to innovate and co-innovate with customers in the market, for future opportunities and applications.
Okay, so you mentioned these 4 platforms. I mean, and we're going to focus a little bit on thermoplastics, but what role do you really see thermoplastics playing in today's industrial revolutions?
Well, I mean, okay, thermoplastic composites are, materials that help, basically replacing metals.
Yep.
So we make everything lighter, stronger, and we can produce all those parts faster. So this is what thermoplastic composites do.
And we at Markets and Markets, we see a lot of change in the thermoplastic composite industry. We see different resins changing. We see sustainable resins. We see bio-based resins. We also see the actual fibers within the composite sort of change. Glass fiber, carbon fiber, even hemp and bamboo fibers. There's a lot of sort of evolution happening within the thermoplastics composites market. What do you really see as the future evolution of thermoplastic composites?
Well, I mean, I think thermoplastic composites is at a tipping point. I mean, thermoplastic composites have been under development for the last 20, 30 years. But now we are getting to a point, especially in aerospace, where really they're hitting a tipping point. Okay, so adoption is what I see. Adoption is going to increase pace. There is still a lot of innovation going, also at the material base. Okay, so look at the company like ScienceCo. Okay, so we are basically putting together, our position on the polymer side. So ScienceCo has a very strong position on thermoplastics and polymers. So polyether ketones, all the fluorinated polymers, all the thermoplastics, we have it on the high end. We have it in our portfolio. I mean, ScienceCo is the broadest polymer portfolio in the industry. Okay, and then we combine that with a whole bunch of reinforcements. It can be carbon fiber. Typically, this is what we do, but also glass fiber, and then we create thermoplastic composites. And there is a whole bunch of innovation that still needs to occur, both at the product level, because you put together different polymers with different fibers, but also on the way then the materials is processed. I mean, it's and this requires a lot of collaborations with our customers and our customers' customers. So not only at product level, but also at processing level. I mean, it's really a collaboration effort, and being able to collaborate with different entities, and being OEMs, tier ones, in different industries, aerospace, automotive, energy. I mean, it's very, very important, for thermoplastic composite to advance.
Yeah, I guess from where we see it, I think the cost of these materials is quite often the bottleneck with thermoplastic composites. I think possibly a lot of innovation needs to happen actually to start bringing the cost down of some of these materials, so that it can be used more across the board.
So when we talk about cost, I mean, it's about 2 things. Okay, so of course, certain type of thermoplastic composites can be more expensive than other materials. Okay, so but at the end of the day, you need to look at the total cost of ownership. I mean, how much is going to cost to use those materials in certain applications, how much is going to cost to process it, can you recycle the material at the end of the life cycle. So there are a lot of components that customers have to consider when decided to use thermoplastic composites. So it's cost is an important variable. Cost of ownership is the most important one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good point. And you mentioned end of life, and that's certainly the sustainability and circularity of these products is one thing. The other issue is, when I talk to any chemical company or materials company, decarbonization is a massive trend or issue at the moment, as is sort of the energy transition. Where do you really see sort of thermoplastic composites? Does it fit into that solution at all, potentially as an enabler in those kind of technology transitions?
So absolutely. I mean, the energy transition is a very important target space for thermoplastic composites across multiple markets. I mean, I can make a number of examples. I mean, energy and conventional energy is a very important space where we develop applications in oil and gas processes, for instance. So we help the oil and gas technology companies to develop systems that are more efficient, where we improve the sustainability of those systems. So to give an example, we help certain customers to develop composite risers that perform better in deep oceans. They have better sustainability profiles. They are more reliable, when they are in use, and they create a lot of efficiencies when they are deployed. Okay, so we are all about enabling solutions for these companies that have target to go net zero by 2050, by 2040. For instance, ScienceCo is targeted 2040 to go net zero. Same story for aerospace. I mean, in aerospace, companies like Boeing, Airbus, and others, I mean, how do they get to net zero? I mean, they need to reduce the weight of their aircrafts, and without the use of composites, this would be impossible to do. And with the use of thermoplastic composites, not only they reduce the weight, but they can also recycle the material at the end of life. So it all works perfectly. It's circular.
Yeah, I mean, good point. I guess the traditional sort of markets we see for composites as enablers is things like wind turbine blades and things like that. But it's nice to hear that you're looking across the whole spectrum. Even the oil and gas industry, aerospace industry. There's ways that these materials can fit in, and it sounds like you're doing a lot of innovation. And Fabrizio, I know you're an expert on innovation, so I just want to focus the last sort of few questions around that. Innovation is very, very difficult. When we at Markets and Markets have a conversation with chemicals clients, innovation is one of the key challenges that any organization, whether it be the chemical and the materials industry or the tech industry, has. And we're seeing, increasing instances where companies are collaborating to innovate. It's very difficult to go it alone, and that brings out its own challenges. So what do you really see as the best way to set up these partnerships and these collaborations to bring around innovation?
Yeah, Robert, absolutely. I mean, collaboration is of capital importance when it comes to innovation. I mean, as I said, ScienceCo was designed, as an innovator and as a company can really partner with certain, customers, certain leading, industry players to develop innovative solution. That what is we are all about. Okay, how do we do that? I mean, let me make a couple of examples. I mean, in thermoplastic composites, for instance, we are part of very specific consortiums. Let me make an example. I mean, there is a consortium called TPRC, which is an ensemble, let's say a group of companies that all together we are looking at technologies that will help advance thermoplastic composites in different industries. So ScienceCo is a top tier partner on the TPRC. We are also part of NIAR, which is the National Institute for Aviation Research. Also there, we have a framework agreement to work with universities, with the government, and with other customers and OEMs in the United States in order to develop innovative products and innovative processes for companies to adopt thermoplastic composites. I want to make other two examples as well. I mean, we at ScienceCo, we have a joint lab, for instance, with a company called Leonardo, which is a very important aerostructure company in aerospace. And together we work on the next generation thermoplastic composites, in the next generation process to use thermoplastic composites. Last example, Solvay has a participation in a company called 90. This company is an additive manufacturing player, and by being together, we bring the material science, and these guys bring the additive manufacturing technologies, and together we help customers utilize thermoplastic composites and additive manufacturing as a way really to develop parts that you would not be able to develop in any other way. So collaboration is important. Being one-on-one between material suppliers and the technology companies, or in consortium in order to advance the technology. Very, very important. Capital important.
Okay, and you mentioned a couple of good models there. Sharing labs with a partner or with potentially a customer. Sharing R&D facilities there and collaborations. Are there any other sort of best practices that you use at ScienceCo when innovating new products and materials that you can share with us?
Yeah. So okay, at ScienceCo we made I would say a very material investment in thermoplastic composites. I think we invested on what we call the Material Science and Application Center. This facility is based in Brussels and is really the idea is really to have a center where we can go there with our customers and develop parts using their design abilities and our material science. Okay, so we have a center that is based in Brussels, which is dedicated to collaboration and co-ideation with customers.
Right.
So again, going back to what I was describing before, is a mix. Okay, so at times you are in consortiums, at times you have one-on-one collaborations, at times you bring your customers to your Materials and Science Application Center to work together from the ideation of the material all the way to making a prototype that then they can test in one of the aircrafts. I mean, it's a continuum.
Yeah, it's a good model, and I know it works well. Like companies like BYK, for instance, on the coatings industry, for instance, they do a lot of that kind of work with their automotive coatings clients, and it is a good model that works really well. Sort of testing the products and collaborating together. Just going back to composites, you're obviously doing a lot of innovation. You're working with your even your competitors, your clients in this space. Where do you then see the most exciting possibilities in the composites area? Are there any new applications or new materials that you think are going to come out soon that's going to change the landscape in the thermoplastic composite space?
So, okay, when I think at composites in general, I mean, composites include not just thermoplastics, but also thermoset composites, okay?
Yeah.
At ScienceCo, we have a full portfolio. So we have thermoset composites, we have thermoplastic composites, we have adhesives that bond together thermoset or thermoplastics with metal and other materials, okay? So we have let's say a fully fledged portfolio of solution in the composite industry. So when I think about opportunities, I mean, aerospace, of course, comes first when it comes to opportunities. I mean, both commercial aerospace, space exploration, including satellites and space rockets, even military and defense. I see huge opportunities for thermoset composites and thermoplastic composites. I give an example. I mean, in commercial aviation, one of the challenges they will have in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years, will be to increase build rates dramatically. Really achieving 30, 40, 50 ship sets per month. At some point, and without changing materials, without adopting composites, and certainly thermoplastic composites, there is no way that these companies will be able to hit the rate that they need to hit in order to meet the customer and market demand. So aviation, huge opportunity. The second big opportunity I see is indeed in the energy transition. And when I say energy transition, I mean from conventional energy, we talk about conventional energy, hydrocarbon extraction, and so on and so forth, but also batteries and even hydrogen systems. Composites will find use and will be an enabler in the energy transition. So it's, and again, reducing, achieving efficiencies by reducing cost, especially maintenance. If you think about it, it's there are companies in hydrocarbon in conventional energy that are spending billions in maintenance. Now all of a sudden you replace metal with thermoplastic composites and you eliminate the corrosion in the equation. Okay, so no more concerns about corrosion because now you have a thermoplastic composite system. But also in batteries, if you think about it, you need battery enclosures. For automotive, for urban air mobility, even for the next generation airplanes. And you need those enclosures to be lighter, to be stronger, and to be produced in large volumes. Thermoplastic composites would be a key enabler in that area. I see huge opportunities, before us. It's going to be a challenge, to make all those things happen through collaboration and innovation with customers, and also to keep up with demand and what is going to come next.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with a lot of that. At Markets and Markets, we're doing a lot of work in the battery space, particularly around the future of things like solid state batteries, and we see opportunities for composites in markets like that. We also see opportunities for composites. You mentioned it, the hydrogen economy. We've done a lot of work looking at the production of hydrogen, the use of hydrogen, even the storing and shipping of hydrogen, and composite tanks, for instance, for the storage of hydrogen is a potential market there for sure.
Yeah, but
I guess
pressure vessels and tanks. Hydrogen tanks will be a big space for composites. Thermoset and thermoplastics. So a really huge space.
Yeah. So you touched on just earlier in this conversation. You touched on sort of end of life of composites. How do you see the end of life and recycling of composites? It's always been a massive challenge, even with the thermoplastic composites, getting the resin off the glass. But with thermosets, it's even tougher again. So how do you see this sort of resolving this end of life and recycling issue for composites going forwards?
I think we are at the beginning of the journey, Robert. It's I see that now a lot of companies, ScienceCo, but also our customers, are all thinking about circularity and end of life, materials. So what do you do? So I can tell you that at ScienceCo we have a lot of discussions with our customers on how to join forces to make to design products that at the end of the life can be recycled again in the same point. A lot of discussions. Okay. Again, here is about collaboration. It's a ScienceCo by itself won't be able to solve the problem. We need to work and collaborate with different industries in order to make our materials circular and recyclable. Of course, we are working to recycle all the industrial scrap that we produce, and I tell you, in composites, that's a relevant work stream. We are really committed to develop systems, processes, and ability to recycle from the get-go. Very, very important work stream.
Okay, fantastic. So Fabrizio, we like to keep these to around 30 minutes. So I've come to the end of my sort of questions and themes. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover or mention before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered most of the topics that is interesting to discuss today. So again, once again, thank you to MarketsandMarkets for hosting me and ScienceCo today. I hope we were able to explain what we are all about, what science can do for different industries, and why thermoplastic composites have a bright future going forward in aerospace, energy, and automotive.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Fabrizio, for the interesting discussion and also letting us hear about the new ScienceCo company. And thank you to everyone for listening in. I was just in a conversation here with Fabrizio Ponte, Executive Vice President and Head of Thermoplastic Composites Platform at ScienceCo. Fabrizio, your participation is greatly appreciated. Thank you again once more, and everyone stay tuned for such interesting episodes on Disruption Dialogues.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to know how you can navigate and thrive in this disruptive era, subscribe to Disruption Dialogues on your go-to podcast channels and stay tuned for more interesting episodes.